opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. I'm your host for the evening, Wes Forsyth, and I'm not wearing pants. Because I figured, what the hell, why start now? We got some stuff going on tonight. Our guest tonight, first of all, I'll go ahead and introduce, I usually do co-hosts first. Our guest tonight, Dirk Strangely. Dirk Strangely. He is the man behind QuarantinedCon.com, QuarantinedCon.com. And my co-host this evening, surprise, surprise, is the lovely and talented Nicole Griffith, because Brandon Griffith says he's too tired, and it's because of all of the lock-in snoo. I'm quite sure. That's a little reference for my nerd buddies. So everybody, here's what we're going on. We're going to be talking to Dirk about QuarantinedCon. We're going to, after the 30-minute mark, we're going to give you the winners of the quarantined costume. Is that what we call it? No, what do we call it? We called it, the apocalyptic cosplay contest. We'll be giving you we'll show you the entries, what they were, and we'll be announcing the winners of that. And of course, we have our movie reviews from Bonehead Humor, FakeShimp.net, and just all the frivolity that you expect from Scarefest Television. Dirk! Okay, first of all, where does one acquire a porn name like Dirk Strangely?
Well, I guess since we're keeping it casual, I can do this interview naked without my face mask. And these days, I feel like I am when we go to the store or something and I'm wearing it, and I take it off, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, like I'm showing my face. I totally bypassed your question. Did you see that? Did you notice that?
It would not be the first time that someone has done that to me.
All right. So, run it by me one more time. What'd you say?
Dirk Strangely. The name. How does one acquire a porn name like that? Because I'll put it this way. It's one of the few times that I've ever, searched on Skype, for example, and you're the only dude that pops up under your name. It's a rather strange, it's a rather unique name. And so I had to throw that out there.
Do you want the truth, or do you want?
Yeah, just tell me it's your stage name. Tell me you used to do porn. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I'm still working on my career in that, but basically, okay, I took the name from basically the coolest dude I knew, and his name was Dirk Vermin in Las Vegas. That's where I'm originally from. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. And he had a tattoo shop, stuff like that. And when I was, I don't know, in my early 20s, everybody used to tell me my art was very strange. My dad was always harping on me about my art. I'd be like, Dad, look, I drew a monster busting through the wall and holding two villains. He's like, why don't you draw something nice? Even Frankenstein, they had him holding a flower. And I'm like, Dad, you want me to draw monsters with flowers? They're monsters. I want to draw them crazy and gory and creepy. So all my friends and my family used to say my art was strange. So the coolest guy I knew, his name was Dirk Vermin. And everybody said my art was strange. And so it just kind of happened. I was like, you know what? I knew that once I started going to the conventions and hitting the art scene and talking to people in my early 20s, my birth name is John Christopher Carson. And basically, I just knew that people would remember Dirk Strangely better than they would remember Chris Carson. And plus, I'm related to the talk show host Johnny Carson. So I didn't want to kind of ride on anybody's coattails. I wanted to do my own thing.
See, now, if I had perfectly good coattails, I would just ride the hell out of them. But I don't, so here I am.
Would. Yeah. I chose the harder route.
Now, okay, let's get to QuarantinedCon.
Okay.
It was brought to my attention. Actually, I guess I knew about it. Probably. When did you actually launch it? Quick question. When did you actually put it out there that you were going to do this?
This is what's crazy. 3.5 weeks ago.
Then I heard about it like on day 2 then. I thought maybe I just completely missed the boat. So that makes me feel a little better about my social media prowess.
Yeah.
I like the idea. As a matter of fact, Brandon made the comment, I wish I'd thought of that. But then again, he made me do all the tech work, so screw that.
It's been a nightmare.
So, okay, you had this idea. Now, I know a little bit of this backstory, but I want you to tell everybody the transition from what you had to making it happen.
Okay. Well, basically for the last 6 years, I've been on a diehard mission to build a platform where all artists could make a living online and also manage their business offline. And so the name of the platform is ArtFarm.tv. And I went through programmer after programmer after programmer, tens of thousands of dollars just wasted on people telling me they could do it, and build this massive platform that I wanted. I raised money all different kinds of ways. I didn't do porn, but like it wasn't making as much money to fund the project, and I'm joking about that. But I did raise lots of money to do it, and it just kept going to programmers who had promised me they could build this platform that I wrote out for them to do, and they would get in over their heads, and then it just wouldn't work out, and they would be like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do, and I don't know where to take it. And the first guys, I reached out to my network on Facebook. I'm like, I need some help here. And the first guys that told me, well, I'm not going to guarantee you we could do it, but let me take a look at it and see what we could do. First guys that said that started building it. Little by little, they're like, okay, let's see if we can do this part. So they built the live stream system for me. I'm like, I need a live chat box for people so they can have live engagement with people. So they built the live chat box system. I'm like, I need artists to be able to post all their prints up on the same page. I want it all on the same page. I don't want like clicking different places to see everything. I want every artist to have everything on the same page, like a profile. And so over a course of 2.5 years, me and these genius techs built ArtFarm.tv. Okay, so then I loaded it up with some artists and we use it, stuff like that. We were just building the company. I started a publishing company, all kinds of things, all kinds of business plans integrated into this. And then COVID-19 happened and all the conventions just shut down. And I'm looking at the platform, my techs are looking at the platform, and I was like, you know what I want? I want to provide people the very first real online convention experience where they can interact with the celebrities, do Q&As, give them something they've never had before, because everybody's stressed. Everybody is like at a loss of like, what do we do? My entire network of artists are like, we don't know what to do. We'll just start trying to sell art on, Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, which is cool. But guess what? If you get collectively a bunch of people all in one area, then it's bringing more traffic to one concentrated spot for everybody to have a better chance, just like conventions. So we made the decision about 3.5 weeks ago to do this, and they converted what they could over, and I used my network to reach out and start telling people, look, you have an answer now. You can come vend. We can take vendors. They can literally, this is like a physical convention. When they're live streaming, they're at their table. Now on the platform, you have a screen, a tip button, and then all their inventory, and then a live chat box. So people can come in and be like, hey, like let's say they sell dolls. Hey, do you have a Joe Exotic doll? Actually, I do. I do have one. I don't have it listed on the site right now, but I'll go ahead and put it on there for you. Boom, 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 boom. You see it? Yep, just bought it. So it's all just the store, but you're not kind of putting up stuff like eBay and then hoping people see it and hoping people bid on it or anything like that. It's all live, because what I'm doing is I'm promoting everything in one area, just like a convention, for a bunch of people to come there at the same time, and to give all these vendors, artists, and talent an opportunity to continue business as usual. And people are loving it. Everybody that's seen the platform that's setting up, has set up on the platform, they're loving it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to kick it over to Nicole, and she can get some of her questions out of the way. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Now find them monthly at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington. Or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol Baskin. Just took a kitty cat ride around my kitty cat meow meow kitty cat lake.
That was terrible, and I apologize, but I couldn't resist it. And Wes, I bet you haven't even watched Tiger King yet, have you? What are you doing? Catch up with us, mate. For the rest of you, hey, Glenn here from fakeshemp.net. Excuse my raspy, gravelly voice. I've been recording all day, and I am 100% spent. So I think it's time to put down the mic and drink some tea. But in the meantime, I think I'll just dish up one more little treat for you. I got a film. I was thinking, actually, what movies do I have that I can relate to Tiger King? Because Wes seems to talk about it every week, and yet he hasn't seen it. And I found one, 1986. It's a movie called Fair Game. And yes, Wes, there's nudity. Yeah, well, okay, it's not quite the Tiger King, but it's as close as I could get. And I mean, yes, we do have a woman who runs a wildlife sanctuary, but she's not batshit crazy. And we do have a bunch of guys hell-bent on driving her away, but none of them have padlocks at the end of their cocks. Fair Game is a genuine and precise example of exploitation. It was made in 1986, right at a time when the whole Ozploitation brand of cinema was beginning to fade away, in favour of the American stuff coming from overseas. And I guess this was the point in time where we sort of lost our cinematic voice for a while as the 90s crept up. But anyway, it tells the story of a young woman living alone on a massive wildlife sanctuary, and she's terrorised by a group of psychotic poachers. After toying with her on the roads into town and leaving creepy trinkets in her house, they step up their campaign of fear by making her the object of their poaching. They strip her bare-ass naked, they tie her to the hood of the truck, and then they haul ass all over the property. And that's just the start of it. And yes, as horrific and misogynistic as that sounds, and it is, Fair Game is absolute exploitation. But just as all of those great rape revenge movies that came before it, like I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left, there is a wonderful final act of revenge, and boy is it glorious. But the acting in this movie is pretty shit, if I am being honest with you. But that's not always why we watch these movies, and in this case, it's all about the eccentricities, the weird characters, and the incredible set pieces. And once again, this is another example of an Aussie movie that influenced Quentin Tarantino. I say it all the time, he adores our genre films, and he's adamant that this one is one of the best. In fact, the entire second half of his movie Death Proof was just one huge tribute to fair game, and him tying Zoe Bell to the hood of that Dodge Challenger was staged almost identically to fair game. Yep, it's some pretty full-on stuff. It's a pretty depraved film, but you know what? Isn't that the appeal? And isn't that what makes these films so wonderful? This exploitation from that era, they're like time capsules. They're the kind of movies that we look back on, and they did the stuff that we just can't do anymore. And for that, I think they're worth their weight in gold. It's fairly easy to come by as well. You can find it on YouTube in full, and I think it's in HD, so that's even better. So if you like the look of that, go and check it out. And find me at fakeshemp.net. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We've got lots of cool stuff coming up on our website. We've got a whole lot of new video content coming, including a trashy corner of mayhem and depravity that I'm not going to say too much about, but watch this space. Of course, we've got the regular podcast dropping every week. This coming week, we have an entire Hitchcock episode. So if you love the Hitch and you love the cock, then you might want to follow. I think I've said enough. I'll catch you next week. Take care. Ciao.
Yep, Glenn snuck in a nipple on me. He snuck in a nipple. And FYI, everyone, I have not watched Tiger King yet. I'm just now watching The Mandalorian. So I'm a little behind on that. Nicole, over to you.
Okay, so
Whoa, wrong camera.
Well,
there we go. Let's.
Oops.
That's live for you.
Okay, I started out my COVID watching Tiger King and being sad, like many of us were, about losing our jobs, because I've been at my job for 10 years, and I lost my job at the beginning of this, not expecting that. So someone called me because they know I love animals, and they said, watch Tiger King, you're going to love this. There's also a connection to me with Tiger King, and so that's another reason they called me up and said, you've got to watch this, you've been there. So every year we went to a beach near Myrtle Beach, and since my children were like 3 and they're in high school now, we went to Doc Antle's Tiger Adventure when we paid to hold the tigers. We didn't go to his farm because or his safari, because that was like $600 to $1,000. But we did do the experience many times. And I actually became friends with his son and talked with his son many times about 15 years ago over the phone when I got back home, and talked to him about the animals and our relationships with animals and all the things we do. And we had many phone conversations about that. So Cody, the son that is on all these Instagram things, I actually used to be kind of friends with him. So when this popped up, people knew that I had posted photos of that and been on that and said, oh, you've got to watch this. And I loved it. And I loved it for a number of reasons. But the way I connected with QuarantinedCon was because of this. And I said, well, some of the reasons that I loved it were that we needed this break. And I think that's why it was so successful. We all needed this break of, oh my goodness, this is the amazing compilation of everything you could put into something. There's also a big LGBTQ factor in this, that people that I am friends with in those societies have really said, this is really revolutionary for those groups of people, because you've got gay polygamous marriages, you've got people doing crazy things, but you've got these relationships that are completely normal shown on TV. So it's very interesting in those ways too. I just love that it broke a lot of walls, and it did it at a time where a lot of people just grabbed onto it. And it really bonded us, because I think everyone was upset and everyone was struggling with their new realities. And this gave us something to really just release in. And I'm amazed at QuarantinedCon, because I told everybody, I said, I've been searching the web of anybody that has an agent related to any of these people. And I know all the agents of a lot of people in the horror genre and the paranormal, and a lot of other ones too. And none of them knew anybody that was a character on this show. And this was like day 3 when it came out that I started looking for them. And Adrian, who is our new director for Scarefest, said, "Oh, let me send you this video." And she sent me your page, Dirk, and it had Saf at the top with this little promo video. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the one that's the person I wanted. That's the guy I wanted." Like, and he got him. He got him. And there was one other that was my top 2 of that show besides Joe. And I can't get Joe. And I was like, he got him. And then you're telling me in this last segment that you have done this for 3.5 weeks. Now, you did say your connections to things, and so I'm getting it now of how you figured it out and talked to the execs at Netflix or whoever. But it's amazing what you have done, because I can usually get in touch with just about anybody, and you got in touch with them, and they were invisible online. Tell me about how you did that.
Well, there's different ways. Like the first thing I could tell you is I got agents to help me look for people, and I basically said, find me anything you can possibly find on this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. I went through the line, and a lot of my female friends, especially these agents, the female agents, I don't know if they get lots of practice by going through their significant other's phone, or their stalking ability by looking up, seeing what they're up to on their phone, stalking people on Facebook. But I have some of the best stalkers in the world, and I got them on the job. And basically, that's really it. I did my own reconnaissance too, and I found a couple on my own. But it's kind of a weird thing right now, because these people are not used to fame, and they're not used to everything that's going on. Like, it's a whole new world to them. We think we're in a whole new world by being in a pandemic. They're in a whole new world by being in a pandemic and being massively famous. And guess what? Most of them still work 9-to-5 jobs, and they don't even realize their fame yet.
And in one conversation that we had that I won't do details of, is that when they're this famous, they will have agents reaching out to them that may not be in their best interest, and they were not expecting this. Because I've seen so many documentaries come out where it's just a documentary, and it's here, it's gone, and nobody even notices it. It's just a bloop. And it's great that they did it, but it's nothing that gains this level of fame. And to become, so I went on IMDb Pro, and for those of you that don't know what that is, if you pay money, you can sign up for an IMDb Pro account, and you can look up a star rating. And so when you look up stars for convention, you can tell how much they will be a benefit to your convention. And the lower the star rating is actually the better. And these guys are beating The Rock. Okay, they're beating The Rock, which is, he's got a pretty big star rating on that. And so they're beating The Rock, and they're beating him by a lot, and beating a lot of other stars. And so I can't imagine what that's like, to being in COVID, and maybe their jobs are closed, and they may have no money to pay their bills. And they're one of the most famous people in America right now. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't want to air like personal messages that I had with some of them, but I've been in contact with Joshua Dial, the campaign manager, Eric Cowley. You remember him with the long hair and the clutch shirt? And they're going through a lot. So it's like, and they have all kinds of, like you said, the agents like just going after them, and it's, in my opinion, it's not really the best move for them right now. And it's too late, because they're already starting to sign up with the first agents that hit them.
I cannot imagine the cultures that are descending on them at this point.
Yeah, like okay, I'll give you one for instance. I was talking to Joshua Dial, and you know he's a kind dude. He's just a normal dude, and I was like, look, I don't know how much I want to put out there, but I will tell you because he already did this publicly. But he was needing medication, right? And he couldn't afford the medications he needed, so he did a GoFundMe. And people were hating on him, like, you're famous. Why are you asking us for money and stuff like that? And being real mean to him and stuff like that. And so it kind of put this taste in his mouth where he came out and said, I didn't ask for it. He told me this. I didn't ask for any of this. I don't want to be famous. I just want to get back. I just want to move on with my life. And so I was like, well, I totally understand that. I actually have a little experience with that of my own. You know, I've done things. I've been in publishing and stuff like that. I've very small modicum of what he's experiencing, but I have experienced like saying the wrong thing that people don't normally like in front of a large audience, and then being attacked for it, and you're just a terrible person because you made one joke or something like that, and they define your whole life based off of that one thing you said. So he's experiencing a lot of that right now, and I think all of them are. But what happened was I was setting him up an account with QuarantinedCon. He wanted to do it, and then he signed with an agent and said, I just signed with an agent last night. So like everything that we do, we have to go through that agent. And I was like, Josh, that was a bad move, man. Like, I'm sorry, but that was a bad move, because like I could have helped you with that, and I would think of your best interest of right now, because the agent isn't going to help you unless he's making himself money. And he was like, well, I want to do the show. Can you try to work something out with him? And he was like, well, I don't know. I just contacted the agent. I told him, I was like, Josh, the agent is just going to say, hey, we have a billion other offers. Like you're offering us, how much are you going to give us? And he was like, well, let's try to work something out. So I wrote the agent, and guess what?
He wanted to guarantee. So,
yeah.
So
15 minutes later, he said it verbatim what I said he would say. And I sent a screenshot to Josh, and I was like, look at this cliche answer I got. Did I call it or did I call it? And he sent me a sad face. But, yeah.
I've been in this business only 4 years because I'm a social worker. But since I've been in it, most people that I've talked to and met, they're substantial with their agents. They're good with their agents. There are very good agents, and I talk to these agents all the time, and I'm like, oh, and they're thinking of their clients, and we're thinking of things that can make them more money. We're thinking of how they need help. And then I have clients, like some of which that we've talked about, that do their own thing too, and they have an agent that didn't put them in a grip lock, so they can do things on their own if they want to. And it's important to realize that there are people that getting contracts, whether it's social work or theater. You know, I know social workers that get in contracts that can't work with anybody for 4 years after they quit a business, and they have to move from state away.
That's part of the
and you have to be very careful.
Mm-hmm. That was part of the problem that I was telling Josh. I was like, man, so this guy is, or girl, his agent's female, I guess, wants to wait until there's physical events again in order to get him any work, but he's hurting for money now. And I put it together a whole promotional business package for him to just clean house, and I wasn't going to take any of it. I was just doing it to help him. And so what I was going to do, I'm going to tell you what I was going to do. I'm just going to lay it out there, because they're probably going to take my idea and do it anyway, because I laid it out to the agent too. But we were going to get them set up on the platform on ArtFarm for live panel, because we're doing live panels on there, and we can monetize those live panels. People can pay into it. And I was like, make it cheap, make it $5 so everybody can do it, you know? And then once you get into the live panel, they can have inventory in their live panel, and people can live chat with them and everything. So you let people buy into your panel, and then your inventory's there. Now, he has some of the original campaign bumper stickers and shirts from Joe's campaign. So he has those, and he's the only one with the real deal stuff, right? So I was like, what we do is we make that your inventory. I'll set you up with some merch. We'll do like a shirt, you know, like the Obey artist that did Obama that says like hope on the bottom, like that style. Well, I was going to have him a design of him made up in that style. And at the bottom, it was going to say, you know, I'm a liberal, so pretty much F the feds. And,
yeah, which is what he said on episode 8 of Tiger King. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to have a shirt made up for that. And I mean, he would make a killing selling that. So I was like, that's what we could do for you. He's like, thank you so much. It's such a good idea. And then the agent thing came in, just like cold-hearted, like.
Well, we won't use words like that because you know they'll find something confusing with that. But those are brilliant ideas. And what I love that you've said is the things about how you've created this business to support artists, and you also said something earlier that I want to go back on with all of the computer people that you worked with, and they weren't listening. Okay, so I feel like I have like a MacGyver brain and an artist brain and all these things, but I do social work, and I've actually got myself a lot further in social work than a lot of other people, and developed major programs. And this week I've sat at the computer 14 hours a day developing how I do in-person social work with disabled people virtually when they've never touched a computer. My brain is almost like dead. But when I have worked with computer programmers to just make a website to talk to people and to reach out to people that may have a different need than your standard form website. They all tell me, yes, I can do this. They all say, oh, I can do this for you. And you get in there and they just spin wheels and circularly talk and say things they can't do, which is why I love Wes Forsythe, because Wes has built our website and I tell him what I want and he tells me why it doesn't work.
I love your website.
He says it in an asshole way where he's like, they don't effing like that. And nobody will like these
the same way.
spinning boxes. But the computer programmers I work with that my company says this is who you work with or here's who to go to, I'm saying, this is what I need to do, build me this, and they cannot do it. And it's because we have an artistic brain versus the programming brain. And I think Wes has both, but most people do not. He might have missed his calling on farming and doing radio shows. He could have been a computer programmer. But really, like, they don't listen as to what the need is. And they just say, yes, I'll take your money. Yeah. And then it's the same thing with agents, and it's the same thing with all these. Like, sure, I can do all that for you. And they take people that don't know anything about the computer, internet, or that don't know anything about going to a con or making money or selling their artistic product or themselves as an artist. And they don't know how to do that. And they're just like, oh, gosh, I've got somebody that's going to help me. Okay, I'll sign what you tell me because you said I could do it, and they just do it. So it's
right.
Commercial break. We need a commercial break.
Okay, sorry.
Akashic Awareness is a metaphysical healing and learning center unlike any other. A large selection of crystals, gems, and minerals greet you as you walk in the door, but from that point onward, the journey is yours. They offer a great selection of metaphysical tools, state-of-the-art holistic healing, with classes and lectures scheduled throughout the month. Akashic Awareness is open Tuesday through Saturday, noon until 6:30, 7 on Friday and Saturday. Visit their website for a current calendar of their almost daily special events and guests at akashicawareness.com. And while you are there, be sure to join their email list to stay current. Akashic Awareness, 328 Sycamore Street, Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
This week in horror history, we begin in the ufology world all the way back in the year 1897 in Aurora, Texas. On the morning of April 17th, residents of this small Texas town awoke to see a strange object flying slowly in the sky and descending towards Earth. The object eventually crashed into a nearby windmill where it exploded and sent debris scattering across several acres of land. Upon inspection of the wreckage, it was discovered that the object had one pilot, and that pilot was described as not an inhabitant of this world. The townspeople couldn't explain who or what the pilot was, and the metal that was recovered from the wreckage was a material that no one had ever seen. The townsfolk decided to bury the pilot in the Aurora Cemetery where it remains today. The incident has since been investigated by numerous reporters and ufologists, but the crash and pilot remain a mystery to this day, and many refer to it as the Texas Roswell. This week back in 1989, horror movie history saw the debut of Stephen King's classic Pet Sematary. The movie follows an all-American family after they move to a new home in the countryside, and tragedies begin to happen. When their beloved cat is killed, a neighbor tells the father to bury the cat in the mysterious cemetery behind their house. The cat is brought back to life, but it's not quite the same, and it quickly becomes apparent that evil forces are behind this. Soon after, tragedy strikes again when the family's 3-year-old son is tragically killed by a truck, and his grieving father decides to bury him in the same cemetery in hopes it will bring him back to life. What follows is a nightmare of tragedy and horror. This book-to-movie adaptation delivers the perfect amount of shock, cringe, and horror, and thanks to its initial success, it was followed up with a Pet Sematary 2 and a complete remake in 2019.
Yeah, Nipple Boy in the chat room. It's called character development. Character development. Anyway, for our giveaway night. Now, we ran a contest this week. Launched Sunday or Monday, I don't know. Basically, your best apocalyptic cosplay. Now, this was a slow pitch up the middle to 90% of you people out there. It would have been so easy. You pull one of your old cosplays, you add a freaking mask to it or some bullshit, and you're entered. The competition has never been that tough. And you tossed it away. You tossed away a chance to win $50 and $25 and $25 for the runner-up. So, here are tonight's entries. First off, we're calling this entry Buckethead. Buckethead. I like the detail in it. I like that it was obviously thrown together pretty much just for this contest. So that is, we're calling that entry Buckethead. Now this one we've been calling Spear Lady. Spear Lady. Now one of the reasons we're giving them nicknames is because Nicole absolutely refused to give me the names associated with these, except for the last names. So anyway, Spear Lady. The only thing, this was a very imaginative entry. We're wondering, it looks like there's a lot of Photoshop involved. I'm not saying it was at a convention. It might or might not have been, but it just doesn't look like it was in your living room or on your deck. That's all we're saying. So maybe, you do have this beautiful scenery out in your backyard, and you have a creek and snowbanks and all that stuff. But anyway, good entry though. Good entry. Good way to follow the theme. And finally, we're calling this one Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies. This one was one that was presented that we can. I'm assuming that the kids are dirty, and the mom said, "What the hell can I do with this?" So anyway, and also the toilet paper was a nice detail to put into the picture. Now the entry
that goes along with that one, and
yeah, you didn't send me a picture of it though, so I can't use it. Yeah.
It's got Dad and the other son with that family.
There's a Ninja Turtle sigh under there too. You see it?
There's what?
A Ninja Turtle. Yeah, a sigh. Yeah, the other picture, their dad had a sword. But I like this one. I thought this one was simple, to the point, and was it was as good as the other one. Now, so our winner, and I'm just going to announce you by last name. Then they've got your phone numbers on the app. They will text you your gift card. I don't know if Nicole, do you need any other details other than you just send them like an Amazon gift card? What are you doing?
Well, I'm still learning this app of the contest rules that was downloaded from Facebook, and it didn't exactly tell me if they wanted it in cash through PayPal or if they wanted it on Amazon gift card. And it gave me a percentage of the number of people that entered, and it was 50-50. So I need to know who wants the Amazon gift cards and their phone number associated with that, and then who wants the PayPal. My phone number, which is out there everywhere already, is 859-338-2514, or you can email me at Nicole, Nicole, at thescarefest.com, and tell me which one the winners want, and I will send you in a couple hours or first thing in the morning either PayPal or an Amazon gift card. Okay.
Winner, Buckethead. Last name was Ball. That's all I know. The last name was Ball. Buckethead, you are the winner. You get the $50 gift card. Spear Lady and Meredith Blackwell for Lord of the Flies, and Spear Lady, her last name was Williams. You are the runner-ups. You will both get a $25 gift card. Now, we're going to jump back to our guest for just a moment here. Let's talk about this. We talked about the artist. Now, the celebrities that have come on board, several that we know, Tiffany Shepis, Kane Hodder, some Scarefest stalwarts, if you will. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I understand you're doing virtual panels, and I'm assuming, now I'm making the assumption, stop me where I'm wrong, that also these people are going to have virtual booths, correct?
Yeah.
Are they going, what is their... I'll just say it. How are they going to make money? What are the stars doing? Are they? Yeah. What are the stars doing? What can people expect when they get in the virtual line, if you will, to see a celebrity?
Well, the different celebrities are doing different things. Some of them are just doing Q&A with people that enter the room. And first off, let me say this. Every aspect of this, you know how when you walk into a convention, you have Artist Alley, a bunch of artists with booths, and you can walk by, you can look through their portfolio, you can chat with them. It's all obviously live, it's right in front of you. Vendors, you walk into a vendor's booth and they can talk to you and answer your questions and sell toys to you and help you find what you want. You can wait in lines and go speak to celebrities, or, you know, sometimes at certain hours you can walk right up and speak with them. And we can do the exact same thing online because every one of their rooms is independent to them. And they have a live stream, and I told them all, when you are live streaming, you are at your booth, you are at your table, and they can see when people come into their room, how many people enter their room, and there's a live chat box where you can see everybody. So just like real life, if you're in a crowd of people and you're talking to somebody, you can hear what other people are saying. You can't hear what other people are saying. You see it in the chat box.
I have a question there. So what if you wanted to have a one-on-one chat with somebody? Can they walk closer to your camera and they be in a real virtual line?
Sure. Yeah.
So how does that work?
That works through a commission system. The actor can set up a commission where you either have a certain amount of time to chat with them, or you can hire them to wish your mom a happy birthday, and they'll make you a video of it or an audio clip, and they can monetize that from their booths.
So I called John
Kassir
this week, and you got John Kassir. I saw it else on your page.
For your help.
When you call my phone, my voicemail is John Kassir. And that is something that lends itself to COVID, where he can say, what do you want me to say? And he can sit there in real time on a virtual platform and write it down and say, I will send this to you tomorrow. And he can go like this and put it off the side and put it there tomorrow. Are there actors that are agreeing to do signatures and mail them yet?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
They're mailing. See, in their shop, they will have autographed prints, and they'll be doing autographs live, so you'll see them live in there.
Signing it just like real.
I'm signing your print right now, and I'll put it in the envelope, and you'll get this in X amount of time.
That is so amazing. I just love this.
It's exciting.
I love this. Now, you said something to me the other day when we had a conversation, because I was really amazed that I sent you an info message and that you were like, yep, call me. And I was like, okay. And that a vendor could have a booth 365 days a year. What is that?
Yes, everybody can. See, here's the thing. We are really trying to help people during this pandemic, but we're also trying to provide a platform that provides an easy structure for everybody to be able to do whatever they want in the convention scene. So there's some things I haven't announced publicly yet that I've told you about the white labeling thing, but maybe we'll talk about that a little later. But what we're doing is, another cool thing I wanted to tell you about was Artist Alley. Our artists, in conjunction with the whole social distancing thing, we have print fulfillment. So artists can upload their prints, and when people purchase prints from their store, they don't have to go to the post office. So we're saving hundreds, thousands of artists from having to go to the store, go to the post office to ship all their orders. Instead, we have a couple people doing it. So it's better to get a couple people to go to the post office right now than it is thousands of people. So we're helping out in that area as well. So we have print fulfillment. They don't have to. If they like printing their own prints or they have their own inventory, they just can load them up and sell them however they want. And vendors, the only difference between the vendors accounts and the artist accounts is vendors need more space for inventory. And the way these platforms work is the company is charged for every bit of space, just like real estate. You know, every bit of space that they're giving you, you have to pay for. So it can get very pricey. But the vendors need to be able to post lots of inventory. And right now, one of the oldest and largest comic book superstores, sci-fi and fantasy superstores, is loading up their entire inventory online on ArtFarm for QuarantinedCon. So we have vendors getting all board, all staff on hand kind of thing, because this is Hail Mary time. You know what I mean?
How are you managing? You have so many irons in the fire. This is crazy. I can't believe you decided to start conning all this, but I think it's amazing.
I take little quick cat naps and wake up. This morning, I opened my eyes. My phone was ringing. When I reached over, grabbed my phone, and it was ringing, and I had already missed 8 calls, and I answered it in the middle of sleep. You know, I was like, hey, this is Dirk. How's it going? You know, like, I don't know. I can turn it on and off, but it's pretty intense. In some ways, I've talked to other promoter friends of mine, and in some ways, this is a lot harder than doing a physical convention, and in other ways, it's easier. So it's completely
I believe that. I
new.
can't imagine the problem solving of virtual with this, and especially with artists. You know, and well, celebrities mostly have someone to do it for them, or they at least know the internet. But with artists, you have artists that don't even understand the internet in the basic sense. And so my day with converting my business to an internet business in a week, because my company just took out a loan this week. So I'm just back on payroll. So this week that I'm trying to get my entire client base online with people that don't understand the internet. They might have Facebook, but they don't understand marketing on the internet. And you apparently are have been marketing things for many years and understanding technology for many years. And so when you have to talk people through all day long, like how do I click on a link and copy it and paste it and send it to you? I don't know. Like those kind of calls, you want those people to be your customer. You want them to be involved so much. But the time it takes to fix those things when you are throwing an online convention is like a miracle. I can't believe you're doing this. I bow down.
Thanks, Nicole. It's pretty funny. I'm pretty good at promoting. I'm pretty good at sales. I'm pretty good at strategic thinking. Been a chess player all my life, kind of thing. But I'm also a really good designator because I'm really good at some things, but I'm really horrible at other things. So what I do is I find people that excel in things that I'm not great at, and I train them. I get them to see the vision, and once they see the vision, they're on board because it's great. Like what we're doing it's a big deal. So designation is how I'm pulling this off. I have a great team working with me, and also the guests. Let me just say this right now. All the guests and all the artists and all the watch party people and all the vendors, like, they're being so patient because honestly, we weren't planning on launching this for another 8 months. But because just the flood of my network crying out for, like, what do we do? I had to take the opportunity to be able to help them now. So in order to get them on the platform, I'm having everybody has something to do. First, you're putting this person's hands. Then you're putting this person's hands. And then I promote you. And then during the show is showtime. So this will be the very first real online virtual convention that has all the features under one platform that a convention has. A lot of what you're seeing out there, and I commend them for doing it, pulling it together quickly, but you can find virtual conventions and online conventions.
I've seen that, but they're clicks on Etsy links. They're clicks on Etsy links.
Yeah, they're just website. They're just like it's like a website with a bunch of Etsy links, like you said, and eBay links and website links, and I go in there and look at them. And
I need to kick this back to Wes because we got 4 minutes, I think. But
sure.
I wish we had another half hour because I am so fascinated by the fact you've pulled this off. Like, I could never pull off a con in 3 weeks. Wes?
Oh, I bet you could.
No.
Well, actually, it's my show, and yes, we can run long, but I still I still have paying sponsors that want their time.
Sorry.
Let's hear from them.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly here with another review. I have to say thank you to someone who I haven't said thank you to publicly yet. I don't know if you know Nicole or Brandon Griffith. They own Scarefest, but my birthday was last month. Yeah, you all forgot. That's okay. Nicole didn't. She said my present was from her and Brandon, but as much as I love Brandon, I know Nicole bought this for me. Thank you so much, Nicole. This is my Pazuzu. If you guys are fans of The Exorcist, and The Exorcist is quite simply the best horror film ever made. May not be your favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's the best horror film ever made. I was told not to bring it into the house, but I have brought it into the house. So here goes for my bad luck. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Brandon. But thank you, Nicole. I've been trying to open to new things. There was a movie came out last year called Escape Room. I had absolutely no desire to see it. None. It's about 6 strangers who find themselves in a maze of deadly, mysterious rooms, escape rooms. So if you don't know what escape rooms are, they're kind of I call them a fad. I know some people love them. You pay some asshole to lock you in a room and you figure out puzzles to get out of said room. You pay for that service. The idea of doing that sounds awful to me. I would rather paper cut my gums and drink lemonade. I would rather shove bamboo shoots under my fingernails. But I understand some of you a-holes out there love escape rooms, and fantastic for you. I DVR'd it, I watched it, and I actually really I kind of liked it. It's pretty good. Like I said, it's 6 strangers in a room. It opens up with a death. You think, what's a death? And then we cut to these people who are strangers being offered X amount of money. It's the same thing if you ever watched either version of House on Haunted Hill. Would you stay in this haunted, spooky old blah, 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 blah for X amount of money? By the way, the one thing COVID has taught us, and memes have pointed it out, you guys wouldn't stay anywhere for anything, or a lot of you wouldn't. You won't even stay home to save your grandmother, much less stay in this place for $1,000. Anyway, there's $10,000, I think was the amount, if you can come get out of this escape room. So people go, they get caught, and guess what? They're going to get killed. Some of them get killed. It stars Taylor Russell, Logan Miller, Jay Ellis, the great Tyler Labine. If you don't know who he is, he was in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is a fantastic movie, and he was in a show from the 2000s that I absolutely love that had Ray Wise playing the devil called Reaper. If you can find Reaper, check it out. They only did a couple of seasons. Fantastic show. This is just a pretty good movie. Escape room. They come together. They have to escape, and of course, one of them gets killed off through each room, basically. Very specific rooms for very specific people. They're specific for their own backstories of what they've been through. Here's the problem with Escape Room. And actually, if you go on IMDb, the first reviewer on it says, what a fantastic movie. It wasn't for that last 10 minutes. That's true. They explain too much. The last 10 minutes builds it up into some sort of grandiose thing. Once again, I don't want to give too much away, but it explains too much. It just brought the whole thing down, which happens a lot, not only in horror films, but any movie. So can I recommend Escape Room? Yes, absolutely. It's much better than some of the other things I've reviewed on here. It's actually shot well. It has production value. I loved some of the sets. I loved some of the kills and the ideas, but just that last 10 minutes. If you get a chance, watch Escape Room. If you're into escape rooms, I'm sure you'll love this movie. If you're not into escape rooms like me, it's slightly better than I thought it would be, which makes me appreciate it, right? So check out Escape Room. Thank you for watching. This has been Joe Lewis. This has been Bone Joe. This has been Joe Lewis from Bonehead Weekly. Thank you, Scarefest.
Is it just me, or does Joe bitch about the last 10-15 minutes of a lot of movies? That seems to be a recurring theme with Joe's movie reviews. I hate the last 15 minutes. So anyway, back to our guest, Mr. Dirk Strangely of QuarantinedCon. That's what we've been talking about tonight, everybody. QuarantinedCon.com. Now, okay, now I'm going to give you a total nerd question. It's not even a question, it's a warning. My experience, okay, I understand you've got the server and all this stuff, the virtual feeds and all the video and everything's going to feed through you. Have you given any thought to how shitty the general public's internet is right now?
We do have concerns about that, but we've upscaled our servers a few times now to be able to compensate for that.
It's not going to be... You're going to get blamed for it. Don't get me wrong. You will get blamed for it. Yeah. But,
I'm ready for it. But you know what? It's got to be done. So it's like, we won't learn unless we go do something and get our hands dirty. So let's do it.
Yeah, you'll if any of the artists or stars are watching right now, first of all, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do it on your cell phone, don't hold your cell phone. Actually, perch it, mount it, and have a nice steady picture. That's the thing. If you're on a laptop or a desktop, reboot before you begin. Restart your computer. I've learned a lot doing live video. I've learned a lot.
I'm glad you're saying that. I mean, I'm having see, you guys were, I think, Nicole, you were talking about this earlier. You were talking about how, like, there's different kinds of, like, the way tech brains work and, like, artists and just different type of the way our brains work. Well, I have a software developer that he's got, like, a master's in mathematics. He's the one doing all the back end, like, crazy stuff. And then Mike is the one that deals with the people, and he handles a lot of the front end stuff, although he can do back end stuff too. So I think what I kind of set it with my text is you have the guy that's like, I feel like this guy could invent time travel if I came up with a business plan for him and I said, hey, I need this built and I needed to be able to do this. I think John could make me be able to travel time, and Mike would be able to make it user friendly. But anyway, I was just thinking about that when we were on the break. Like, you're absolutely right. There's different levels of the way the brains work, and they don't necessarily understand each other. But Mike is in between me, the front guy, and the guy building the time machine.
Yeah, what Nicole was talking about earlier, where I do web design. There are two types of people that do websites. There are developers, and developers do all the back-end stuff. Kudos to them, but generally your average developer...
Yes.
No, I'm not a developer. Your average developer has no clue how to make things user-friendly. Web designers, on the other hand, like me, that's all we think about, is when somebody goes here, I want to make this just as dumbass easy for them to use as possible. And in the process of it, sometimes we don't appreciate the difficulties that go on. In other words, how much server strain does something cause? So yeah, there is, and yes, as far as web designers go, I am an asshole. If I don't like something, I will tell my client that.
And I love that. I love that.
Oh yeah, Mike is that guy for me.
It's good to have that guy.
Yeah, he is good. He's really good. But
now, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually going to toss to Nicole because she's had this big long list of questions that she says she hasn't got to yet. So Nicole, I'm going to toss it to you.
I've almost gotten to it.
Okay.
I texted them to Dirk, but
we're going to try to keep it in the next 10 minutes.
Just go into it. I got him here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Go for what I texted you.
So I also own a publishing company called Silverback Publishing. And again, it's to help artists link up with writers, and I can get them published worldwide. I have, the publishing company, we're set up to be able to sell on Amazon. We can get you in Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. We can get you everywhere. But we look for creative people to collaborate with on these. So the publishing company was doing really well. It's reasonably new. I had all kinds of physical conventions set up, and I had to, shift direction into QuarantinedCon. But my publishing company is a sponsor for QuarantinedCon, and we will be selling our books there and stuff like that. And we do take submissions and what have you.
And your books are in Hot Topic, right?
Yes, I had dark and bedtime stories for children in Hot Topic for about a year and a half. And that's when, and then Tokyo Pop published, I was a guest artist in one of the Dark Crystal books that Tokyo Pop did. And so when I was talking earlier about the Tiger King people not being used to the fame thing, and I said I felt the modicum of it, well, that modicum of fame was me being able to go to any state in the United States, even if I've never been there, and I'd have people coming to me bringing me their books to sign. And that was pretty surreal.
We have I talked to a few celebrities this week in relation to QuarantinedCon, and one of them actually that I forgot to tell you to reach out to was Ari Mihailov, and he and I were having a conversation because he was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I said, what a fortunate thing. And he and I have conversations about family and children and relationships and how this whole thing works. And I was saying, what amazing thing that as children, now you were related to somebody, as you said earlier, that was famous, so you might not have had the same experience, but the rest of us, what an experience that we grew up not ever thinking we would meet anyone famous. And now we have a business of meeting people famous, and it's the norm. And that's an amazing thing. And that on top of that, we get to share that with everyone we can possibly share it with. And that's our goal, is how do we connect all these people together? And how do we make this an experience that everyone can have, no matter their monetary circumstances or what they can afford, or how do we make this happen for everyone and make it the norm? And the celebrities really want that. They want it. We want it. I think this is such a brilliant platform. And the conversations you and I had about how to meld this into real conventions, those that cannot be there, and how to make this integrated, and all you've done with your money that was lost and thrown away on bad ideas or bad people, or what you've invested in this. It's amazing what you've done to further the con world. And when I talked to you the other day, I just was so impressed of all the things me and Wes and Brandon and everyone have talked about, of how do we do this? How do we make this happen? And we can't do it with our social work job and our con job and our farm job and our all this stuff, because cons for us, yes, I own one, and yes, we all are a team that just dives into this for 13 years. But how do we make this like a part of all of the country of the world? And you have created a platform that can sell what we're doing as every single con at the same time people are coming to it, which is, that's the ultimate experience. Being there is always the ultimate experience. Right now, everyone is experiencing that in quarantine. We're all talking on Zoom, or we'd rather be face to face.
Of course.
It's preferable to be face to face. But when we can't, your platform you've built can be integrated into our conventions to where we can actually sell a virtual ticket at the same time that we're doing our real con. And that even means for the people. So I talked to agents this week, some of which that contacted you and said, your clients could have a line, and the people in your line could have a opportunity to see a seminar or a panel at the same time that they're standing in line.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could really happen, right? Right?
Yeah.
Or you could be an assistant to a celebrity and be sitting at their booth, like just sitting with them, and look at the con online and shop in all those stores and be like, oh my God, in row 13, I'm gonna go buy this. Hey, Kane Hodder, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go buy this thing over here, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. So I know it's there, even though I didn't shop all 14 rows. Like,
right.
You could go buy that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool too, because the platform has a shopping cart too, so you're not having to ring up everything individually. Like you were talking about the scenario where you want to go buy something somewhere else. Like you could just hop in out of different people's rooms, throw something in your cart, go back to the panel you were watching or the live stream you were watching, no problem. It's really cool. And to go back to what you were talking about earlier, yeah, let's bring it up. We spoke about it on the phone. We are going to white label our conventions, our platform for conventions. So you weren't the only one that was like, oh, I'm a little jealous you have this and thought about this, but there's no need for that, because we can provide it for conventions as well, and it'll be your convention. And we just manage the online side of it. Even when we go back to physical conventions, you're limited to geographically how many people can get to you. But if we do a virtual online one the very same time, you throw a couple live stream cameramen in the panels, you can allow people at home to come see your panels. You can sell tickets for entry into your convention online. Artists in different countries and different states can be in your artist alley, in your virtual artist alley. Agents are able to sign up accounts and submit their clients to different shows, to our platform, and they can set up all their percentage splits and everything right there. It keeps everybody honest and transparent with each other. You can end it at any time you want. There's no obligation for anything. It's just, it's something I've been dreaming about for 6 years, and it's finally in a situation to where it's benefiting people on a grand scale.
I couldn't wait for you and Wes to meet.
What's that? She's for us to actually meet, because she thinks I'm a big nerd too. Now see, this is where my particular gift, if you will. I look for everything that can go wrong. I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. I love the idea, and that the platform sounds solid. And but I'm trying to picture this, working this into to conventions. Now, I realize it'll be a more limited scale, because you can't have a webcam at every booth.
Lay it on me, Wes. I got 30 of you guys that think of everything wrong.
Okay, number one, Convention Center Internet. Convention Center Internet, widely known as AOL dial-up.
I know what you mean, though.
People ask me why I don't live stream when I go to conventions. It's because 9 out of 10 of them, the internet available in the vendor hall. Now, sometimes in rooms and stuff, they'll have better connections. But the internet available in the vendor halls is like...
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. Having to walk around the room with your cell phone to get a transaction to go through is proof.
Exactly. I was in a convention center up in Pennsylvania. I swear the place was a bomb shelter. There was no cell phone signal in there. The internet sucked. And there were spots just I mean, you didn't get one bar. I mean, it was that bad. But I will say, as if we don't learn anything else from COVID-19, it's that our communication infrastructure is sorely lacking, and hopefully cities and convention centers and hotels will step up to the game. We're pretty much at the end of the show, but now, what else? Is there anything else you want to make sure people know about QuarantinedCon.com?
Well, admission is free, and if you want to see something you've never seen before and you want to be part of pretty much a revolution, step right in. All you got to do is go to QuarantinedCon.com, go to registration, get your free admission. You have access to the platform, but remember, it's going to be hopping on the 2nd and 3rd of May.
2nd and 3rd of May, everybody. Details once again at QuarantinedCon.com. And we've got links everywhere. Go to thescarefest.com. First big banner that pulls up, because we are excited about this venture. We're excited about trying to fold it in to the Scarefest as best as we can when it comes up this fall. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Congratulations and thank you to our Apocalypse cosplay people. Watch Sunday. I'm sure we're going to have another contest coming up, because we're trying to keep people involved and entertained. If we can't be together, we're going to be apart together. Or is it together apart? I don't know. Pop psychology bullshit, but you know. So everybody, hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Once again, QuarantinedCon.com.